Hey, what is up YouTube? In this video I'm going to be showing you guys how to work with numbers. Okay, so I have this system.out.println line statement on here, and as you guys remember, whatever goes inside those parentheses gets printed out onto the console window. So let's say we want to add two numbers. You simply use the plus sign between the two numbers. Okay, so 7 plus 9, we're going to go ahead and run that. As you can see, 16, that's the right answer. If we want to multiply, we use the asterisk. Go ahead and run that. 14. Okay. If we want to subtract, we use the minus sign. Okay. We run this, and that's the right answer. And then finally, if you want to divide, you use the forward slash. Do 10 divided by 2 should be 5, and it is 5. Okay, pretty straightforward. And if you want to go ahead and use these variables instead of just using numbers right there and then, you can go ahead and do that. So we could do num1 plus num2. That should be 9 plus 21, which is 30. That's the correct answer. And you could go ahead and use the other operations as well. You can multiply, you can divide, subtract, whatever you want. So what I wanted to get to is something called Pemdas. And Pemdas is pretty much the order of operations in how the computer is going to process everything. So what this means is it's pretty much going to do everything that's inside. It's going to calculate everything that's inside parentheses first, then exponents, then it's going to multiply, then divide, then add, and then subtract. So what this means is, let me go ahead and copy one of the examples on here. Okay. So the system.out.println 2 plus 3 times 5. Can you guess what's going to output on the console window? Let's see. Okay, the reason it's 17, okay, and not 25 is because it's using this Pemdas rule. It's doing the order of operations in a certain way, right? So if you remember, I'm going to write this out again on here. Pemdas. So first it does everything in parentheses, which is technically true, right? It's doing everything here in parentheses. There are no exponents, so it skips that. Then it does multiplication. There's multiplication right here, so it does 3 times 5, which is 15. Then it does division, but there is no division on here, so then it goes and does addition. So now we know that this is 15, so it adds the 2, now it's 17. There's no subtraction, so it finishes and it outputs 17 instead of 25. I know it makes sense to go left to right, so do 2 plus 3 is 5, 5 times 5, 25, but this is actually the correct way, and this is the way that the computer processes everything. So first it does parentheses, exponents, then it multiplies, then divides, adds, and then finally subtracts. Here's another example I wanted to go over. Okay, let's see if you guys can try to guess what's going to output onto the console window. Okay, 11. So again, it first does everything in the parentheses. So first it does 2 times 5, which is 10. Then it does the exponents, but there are no exponents on here, so it just goes straight to the multiplication. But we already did the multiplication on here, so then it looks for division. There's no division on there, so then it goes to addition. So again, there is 10 on here because 2 times 5 is 10, and then the addition of 1, that's 11, and there's no subtraction, so it outputs 11 on there, and the answer is 11. Okay, and then finally the last example I want to go over here is this math.pow is pretty much how we write exponents. So I know what you're wondering. You probably thought that writing exponents was as simple as doing 7 caret 2 or something, right? No, it's actually a little different on here, and the way it's written is you have to do math.pow, and it takes in 2 numbers. You have to put in 2 numbers on here inside of these parentheses. The first being the base number, okay? And then the 2 is the exponent. So in order to use this math.pow, you actually have to import this java.math.asterisk. Okay, if you remember from my other video, you remember you use these import statements to use code that other people have written. So there's some really smart people that already wrote a math class, okay, or math code pretty much, and that's what we're doing here. Is what we are reusing that code. We're borrowing that code, we're using it here, okay, so that we can use exponents. So we do math.pow. Pow stands for power. So do math.pow, and then again the first number is the base number, and the second number is the exponent, or the little number on the top right that you would normally see if you were to write this down on a piece of paper. So again, going with the order of operations, first we do parentheses, okay, technically no parentheses on here, okay, except these two. And we move on to exponents. This is the exponent on here. So if we do, say, 4 to the power of 2, that's going to give us 16, right? Because 4 times 4 is 16. Then we move on to multiplication. But as you can see, there is no multiplication on here. So we move on to division, but there is no division. So we move on to addition. And yes, there is an addition of 4. So again, 4 to the power of 2 is 16, plus 4 is 20. And there is no subtraction going on, so it should output 20. And the reason it has this 0.0, the reason it's a double and not an int, is because this pow here, this whatever's inside these parentheses, automatically gets converted to a double and not an integer. Okay, alright, so that's pretty much it. We went over, whatever's on parentheses goes first, then exponents. And remember, if you want to use exponents, you have to do math.pow, that's POW, followed by an open parentheses, close parentheses, and inside you're going to need 2 numbers. You're going to need the base number, which is this 4 right here in this example, followed by a comma, and then the exponent, which is the little number on the top right, okay, and in this case it's 2. And when you run the code, it'll do that math for you. So exponents, and then multiplication, and then division, and then it'll do addition, and then finally subtraction. And again, you can replace these numbers with variables as well, or you can mix it up. So num1 is 9. So this would be 9 to the power of 2. Go ahead and take away this plus 4. And if we go ahead and run it, 9 to the power of 2 is, of course, 81. And the reason we have this dot 0 is because everything inside here gets converted into a double. Alright, thanks for watching my video. Hope you guys liked it. Thanks.